Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As a financial advisor in my second job, I get to help families every day plan with their investments and their retirement. And part of planning for retirement can be trust planning, establishing how a person wants their assets protected or passed down to the next generation. Since 1990, 20 different states have enjoyed increased revenue and job creation by passing laws allowing what are called spendthrift trusts, also known as domestic asset protection trusts. So, Mr. Speaker, would you please have the clerk call House Committee Substitute 1.
Clerk, please report.
House Committee Substitute 1 to House Bill 771.
Gentleman from Jesuit.
I move adoption.
Motion is for the adoption of House Committee Substitute 1. Is there any discussion of the committee substitute? Seeing none, those in favor signify by voting aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. House Committee Substitute 1 is adopted. Gentleman from Jesuit.
House Bill 771, as adopted by House Committee Substitute 1, or as amended by House Committee Substitute 1, brings rules surrounding trusts, spendthrift trusts, to Kentuckians, giving us another tool in our tool belt to plan for the future. These trusts simply allow one person, called a grantor, to create an irrevocable trust of which they are the beneficiary. The grantor must truly give up control of the assets that are transferred into that trust. But the trust terms can allow the trustee, if they so choose, to make a distribution from the trust to the grantor. Because the grantor has truly given up control of these assets, they will be protected from creditors and out of the grantor's federal estate for estate tax purposes. Now, why is this important? Number one, it allows the individual to protect legally their savings and often their family business. So think about a family farm being passed down from generation to generation. Number two, it provides protection from future federal estate taxes. Now in 2026, and this is important for everyone here to know, in 2026, the federal tax exemption on inheritances will go from $12 million back down to $7 million. Anything above that $7 million mark will be taxed at 40%. Now, while this is certainly not the bill that deals with inheritance taxes, I'm going to take a point of personal privilege and say that I believe that inheritance taxes are fundamentally immoral. However, we have them and we can plan for them. And while $7 million may sound like a lot, and it is, when you think about the value of a family farm or a family business and one's life savings, those values can add up quickly. And I would imagine if anyone here has a business or has a farm that you want to pass down to children, and you know that when you pass away that the government is going to take 40% of that and allows you a legal way to avoid that, I would imagine that most of us would take advantage of that, and that's what this bill does. So how do domestic asset protection trusts benefit Kentucky? As I stated before, 20 states already have these laws, including all of our bordering states, except Illinois. So by passing asset protection-friendly laws, the other states that have brought in business from citizens of other states, Kentucky loses residents seeking this protection to other states, most often to Tennessee. And we know how bad Kentucky loves to beat Tennessee. All domestic asset protection trust laws require the trustee to do business in that state. These laws recognize that creditors are better protected when assets are kept in our state, when laws governing the transfer of assets are in our courts. So, Mr. Speaker, House Bill 771 doesn't allow for transfers into trust if one has creditors. Such transfers are fraudulent and voidable. Kentucky creditors are in a better position to determine if those transfers are void if we are doing it in our courts and not trying to fight another state's court system. House Bill 771 also creates a public record of transfers into self-settled spendthrift trust. So, Mr. Speaker, would you please have the clerk call House Floor Amendment 1? So, Mr. Speaker, House Floor Amendment 1 is just some cleanup from testimony that was heard in committee from the Kentucky Bankers Association. This is language that we all agreed upon, and it satisfies the request. So, Mr. Speaker, I move for final passage of House Bill 771 as amended by House Committee Substitute 1 and House Floor Amendment 1.